courage, commitment, desire. This is the Blitz, baby!
I'm Travis Downey, and this is Will Parchman, and we are bringing you another week of the Northwest Florida Daily News' Prep Football Blitz. Get you guys set for the Friday night that's coming up. And before we look ahead to this week's action, Will, look back to last week. What kind of stood out?
I was at the Walton Catholic game, a game that nobody really gave Walton a whole lot of a chance to win. But you know, up 20-6 there at the end of the third quarter, really looked like they might pull it out. Catholic at the end, just too strong of a team. This is a Walton team, despite some setbacks. I mean, they're not giving up.
Right. Yeah, they've got a lot of resiliency in them. I was at Fort Walton Beach, Niceville, big county rivalry game, and of course, Niceville got the win. Fort Walton Beach handed more than one loss. Luke Barnes out for the season, tore his ACL.
That's tough.
It's a terrible way to see a young man's prep career end. But he's going to be getting ready to recover and get to Troy. So moving on, looking ahead to this week's action, starting with, I guess, the Rocky Bayou.
Yeah, we got Rocky Bayou hitting the road, going to Graceville, a one-win team. But again, Rocky's still looking for that first win, and maybe they get it, maybe they don't.
Yeah, these are two teams looking for that first win in conference play. I think Graceville's going to get it done. They've won once this season. Mm-hmm. I think Graceville will keep Rocky Bayou in search of that elusive win.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said for a culture of winning. I think Rocky's still looking to cultivate that there this year. I don't think they're going to get it done this year or this week, unfortunately. Roll on to next week for them. Then we got Vernon visiting South Walton. All important game for South Walton, wrapping up their district slate.
Yeah, they're trying to earn that #2 spot and get into the postseason for a second straight year. Really impressed with the way they handled themselves last week, in need of a big win against Sneads. They blanked Sneads 35-0. So that was huge, and for that reason alone, I think South Walton, they got their head on right. I'm going to pick South Walton to win this game.
I will too. I really like the way that they've come off that Freeport loss, all guns blazing. They've looked really good here lately, so I'm going to take South Walton as well. And we've got Baker visiting Freeport. At least on paper, really kind of sets up as a blowout.
It looks like the haves and have-nots of this district. I'm going to go with Freeport. I think they just have a lot more at stake and a lot more to play for than Baker. Baker's trying to be a spoiler, which that can last for a quarter, maybe a half. But I think Freeport has proven to be, so far this year, the class of that district. I like Freeport to take care of business.
Yeah, Baker's going to fight, just don't have enough fight in them, I don't think. Freeport's just too strong everywhere. I think it would take a minor miracle to derail Freeport at this point from, possibly getting that first ever district title, which is definitely in their sights. Then we got Wakulla visiting Walton. Talked about that Walton resiliency. Can they do it again?
This is going to be tough. I mean, they're coming off a hard one last week, and Wakulla's a team that's won 5 ball games this year. I wonder if Walton's looking ahead to their next district game the week after this. I'm going to go with Wakulla. Okay. I just think Wakulla will get it done. I'm
going to disagree with you here. I'm going Walton. I think they got the news after that Catholic loss that Chipley had upset Mariana, which puts them right back in the playoff picture. Need a win to fall in place, but still, I think they're going to come off that loss with some renewed vigor, and I really do think they're going to get that win. The fact that it's at home is definitely going to help them. Then we got Pace visiting Navarre. Another game that kind of sets up to seem like maybe one of these blowout games.
Yeah, Navarre's coming off 2 straight wins, both on the road. They've played well, especially last week with the Scambia defensive win for them. I still think Pace is just a little bit too much for Navarre right now. I think Navarre's starting to find some players to count on outside of Michael Pettis, but I'm going to go with Pace this week.
I think Navarre's got to be really pleased with what they've been able to do the last 2 weeks. Yeah. Just a really bad start to the season, and they've really kind of countered that with a couple of really good games on the road, no less. I mean, that's really impressive in itself, but I still think Pace just too strong. They're going to get the win there. Then we got Crestview visiting Leon, going across the panhandle, as it were.
And Crestview coming off of a big win too, a 1-point win, a nail biter after really jumping on Mosley. They held on for a 34-33 win. I like Crestview a lot. I really like how they've just persevered through this season. They've had some ups and some downs. I'm going to go with Crestview.
And I will counter you again. I think I'm going to go with Leon. I think the road trip here can't be discounted. I think that's a long way to go. Leon just coming off a thrashing, absolute beating of Lincoln. So it was a good team, not the team we thought they would be, but a very good team nonetheless. And I think that distance is going to play into it. I'm taking Leon, the 4-2 team. Then we got Daphne visiting Niceville. It's a good Niceville team. or it's a good Downey team. It's a great Niceville team.
Right, exactly. You know, Downey started 1-3. They're coming into this game 4-5 now. They blanked their opponent last week in Robertsdale 27-0. I'm going to go out on a ledge and say Robertsdale is not quite the caliber of football team that Niceville is. I'm going to go with Niceville to move to 8-0 and you know, really keep that #1 rank.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Downey really knows what it's walking into here. I mean, you see the #1 ranking, but you don't really know the speed and the size that Niceville brings to you until you kind of hit that field. I think Niceville's going to get it done at home. And then finally, we've got Choctaw hitting the road, someplace they've been very comfortable this year, going to Bay. Yeah,
and I think for Choctawhatchee, it's all about, you know, they were in this situation last year. If they win Friday night, they're in the playoffs for the first time since '04. This is a team that I think has kind of found itself after a rough start. A lot of injuries had a lot to do with that, so just playing Niceville. But I think this team has kind of found itself. I like Choctaw to go on the road and get this win and secure their first playoff berth in a few years.
I do too. I really think this game sets up nicely for Choctaw. They're on kind of that downward slope of their schedule after that just absolutely brutal start to the season.
And you look at last week, they had a really poor start against Washington, a lesser team. I think that serves as a wake-up call to these guys. They can't come out slow, and I think they'll take care of business.
And they definitely did come out firing there in the second half, just like they have here in the second half of the season.
Right.
And that will do it for this edition of the Blitz. For Travis Downey, I'm Will Parchman, and we will see you again next week.